Hello, doctor.
Yes, good morning. Please wait, we will start soon.
Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Please wait, we will start soon.
Good
morning.
morning, Dr. Abhijit Ghosh.
Good morning, Dr. Vishal.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay. How are you?
Fine, fine.
We are about to start.
Yes, definitely, sir.
Good morning and welcome all of you to the MOOC series of lecture, Massive Online Open Course series. And we are very fortunate to have with us Dr. Vishal Khasgiwala, who will deliver his talk on how to write effective case study. And this is an international collaboration between Lincoln University College and Atmia University. And I would like that to inform you that all 100 of our participants is here joined, and many of is in YouTube also watching. So any question during the session, please feel free to the chat box, write in the chat box so Dr. Vishal can reply. So I also hear our Dean, Professor Dr. Abhijit Ghosh, Faculty of Business and Accountancy is present, and I hand over the session to him for introduction of Dr. Vishal. This Dr. Ghosh, please.
Thank you, Dr. Poddar, our DVC Innovation and Research. Thank you very much for inviting me to say a few words about Dr. Vishal Khasgiwala. Now, Dr. Vishal Khasgiwala is not new as far as we, Lincoln University College, Faculty of Business and Accountancy concerned, because we are collaborating with his university in Gujarat, India for many numbers of years. And also he came to Malaysia and visited us for many different projects. And also we have arranged for many different seminars, conferences and stuff like that. So Dr. Vishal is actually working as Dean, Faculty of Business and Commerce, Atmia University, Rajkot, India. Earlier to this, he was working as a CEO in Pujara Telecom in Rajkot, Gujarat. And also he was Dean in Charge and Associate Professor, School of Retailing, Symbiosis, University of Applied Science, Indore, MP. His qualifications include a PhD in Management, MBA, MCA, and he is also completed FDP from IIM Indore. He has been awarded as a torchbearer by Educators Award, the open page in the presence of Honorable Governor of Gujarat for significant contribution in the management education. There are more than 30 international and national research papers and 7 case studies that he has published. He has written various books on management information system, digital electronics, product and brand management, IT fundamental, and so on. And also he is appointed as a reviewer of Journal of US-China Public Administration, David Publishing Company, New York, USA. He had co-authored and co-presented more than 7 case studies, some of the well-known contribution of Reliance Fresh case study, which was chosen among best case studies at IIM Calcutta in AIMA convention and published in the book Marketing Practices in Developing Economy. PHI publication and forward by Dr. Philip Kotler. The Tata Nano case study was chosen among best case studies in AIMA convention called for presentation in Wellingkar Institute, Mumbai. Without further waiting, I invite Dr. Vishal Khasgiwala to start today's session. Dr. Vishal, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
just before we start, we want to take everybody's participant photograph so that later on we forget. So please, all participants on your camera. Just 1 minute, everybody ready? I think everybody ready, so we start. Ready? Fast. Okay. Start. 4. Okay, sir. Now we can start. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So shall I share my screen?
Yes, sir. You start. Share.
Just wait for a moment. Is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So very good morning to all my dear participants. Before going to start, I would like to very much thankful to Dr. Amia Bhomik, President, Lincoln University College, Malaysia. Dr. Abhijit Ghosh, HOD, Business Accountancy, Lincoln University, Malaysia. And my dearest friend, Dr. Sandeep Poddar. He is the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Innovations. Thankful for providing us such a beautiful platform. So before going to start on the topic, I would like to ask one simple question. Being an academician or being an academician, what are the three major areas which we want to contribute to the society? Anyone would like to give the answer? There is some special prizes from my side. Who has given the answer in the chat box? What are the three areas in which a teacher have major responsibility? Anyone would like to give answer in the chat box? I have a special prize for you. Yes, my dearest 100+ participant in the Zoom meeting. I am waiting for your answer. Yes, educate the community. Thank you. Build leaders. Fantastic. Yes, anyone more? Waiting for the answer. Faster. I'm very much happy to see the answer of 2 leaders who has given the answer. My dear all participants, being a teacher, there are 3 major responsibilities which we want to do. One is teaching, research, and consultancy. The answer which is given by the participants are perfectly right. By teaching, by counseling, by as a moderator, we want to build leaders. And by the research, it may be empirical, it may be non-empirical. We would like to contribute to the society for new innovations or the issues which are prevailing into the society. And the consultancy is a part where we are contributing to the industry, whatever the business model we have learned or we have innovated. This innovative model we would like to apply in the real sense. But my dear friends, there is one more area which helping us to make sound leader for the society. And then that is the case study. This case study, why this case study is very, very important? This case study is very important because it is a practice-oriented theory. Whatever the situations are prevalent in the market, whatever the problems happening in the society, whatever the issues that industry face in their regular operations, such issues we convert into the case form. And this case study we are discussing in the classroom, where we think that our all participants will apply their own concept. They apply their own knowledge and provide the best solution for the issues. As we know that very well, in the science, there is a laboratory where whatever the concept we have thought about, this concept has been experimented in the laboratory. But my dear friends, when we talk about our management educations, in management educations, we don't have laboratory, but we want that whatever the concept, business models we have discussed in the classrooms, these models has to be applied in the classrooms, and the platform by which we able to perform this experiment in management or in commerce is through case study. Case study provide a live situations in which we will thought about and try to give the best solution which is favorable as per the environment. And
Sir,
case, yes, sir.
your slide is not moving.
Hey, I'm not moving, sir. It is, I will keep it
Oh,
static
okay,
right now.
okay.
So my dear friend, the case study will help them for self-education. Case study help in for self-development. Case study help for us in for changing the attitude. So these are the major learnings we have from the case study. So before going to the next part, I just want to highlight there are certain misperception about case study. People understand case study is a story. It is a kind of unseen passage where certain paragraph has been given and there are certain questions are there which are expected to answer by reading the passage or an article or raw description of situations. My dearest participant, the case study is much beyond this one. The case study is much beyond this one. What is the case study? Anyone would like to give answer faster in the chat box? Yes, I'm waiting. Anyone would like to give the answer in the chat box? What is case study? The prizes are there. There are a lot of prizes are there. Yes, anyone? What is case study? Yes, thank you. One answer received from Archana Joshi. Learn real-time situation. Fantastic. Case study is a real situation. Fantastic. Study the gap. Great. About the case study. My dear friend, research on the current issues a case study is simply, if I say, is a research method involving in-depth and detailed examinations which have description of real-life situation concerning an organization's or set of circumstances concerning an organization for set of circumstances. But my dear friends, if I have to say in very simple way, yeah, system investigation, fantastic. Research in specific subjects such as person, group, place, fantastic. But if I have to say in my real sense, a case is a slice of organic reality presented for discussion. Again, I'm repeating, a case study is a slice of organic reality presented for discussions. Oh, my dear friends, I hope it is understandable. If it is understandable, please say yes in the chat box. It is an interactive session. It is not a kind of session where I have to speak and you all have to listen. Write one or why. One or why. Yeah, great. I'm getting a response. Thank you, my dearest participant. So, my dear friends, this is the real data which I'm sharing you. Okay, what is the importance of case study? A case study that if you read, you're able to retain 10% of the knowledge. If you hear, you retain 26% of the knowledge. If you see, you retain 30% of the knowledge. But if you see and hear, you retain 50% of the knowledge. But if you what they say and you do is very important. That means we are applying the concept in practice. We are applying the concept in practice. If you are doing this one, we able to retain our knowledge by 90%. The case method of teaching or pedagogy helping us to retain 90% of the knowledge. That is the importance of case study. I hope you have listened. The best B school of the world, Harvard Business School. Their learning pattern in management and commerce is case-based learning. They are emphasizing more than 60% to 70% of the class in the mode of case-based learning. They are providing the cases in which and whatever the concept you read in the classroom discussions or through the books, that concept you to apply in the real-time situation which is given in the case study. So my dearest participants, the case study play a very, very important role. Now, if moving, it is my brief profile, which I already shared. So now we are going to start the real play of the today's session, real show of today's session. The topic of my discussion, how to write effective case study. So my dear friends, if how to write an effective case study, then just phase that has been divided into the different phases of development of the cases. There are the 5 phases I have mentioned over there. We will discuss each phases in detail. First one is selection of incident, data collections, structure of the case, disguise and release, and presentations. Now, what is the selection of incident? I would like to discuss this in detail. When we talk about selection of incident, it's again have certain points for discussion, that is on case lead, theme, learner interest, and homework. What is this incident? I am taking the example of my own case study. I written one of the case study which I already mentioned by Dr. Abhijit Ghosh, that is on Reliance Fresh. This is a venture of Reliance Industries. In 2006 in India, in the month of October, the Reliance Industries come into the one of the retail chain store with the name of Reliance Fresh. This is a kind of store where Reliance company would like to sell the vegetables, fruits, and the staple goods, and some kind of grocery item. But the portion of foods and vegetable is more than 60%. When this thought has come into the real practice, and when the real Reliance industry started to implement in the form of a store or execution of the store at the various location of India, there was a lot of protest against Reliance Fresh. Why? Because the roadside vendors which are selling the vegetables feel that it will affect our livelihood, because industry like Reliance Industries, which are come into the low profile business, which are the business which is done by uneducated people. So how we will survive? The wholesaler also into the dilemma, because Reliance companies would like to buy the product directly from the farmers. The cold storage also into dilemma. They also lose the business, and they want to come into the AC store for selling the vegetables and the fruits. And there's a lot of protests happening in India. These incidents provoked me to write the case on Reliance Fresh. That is called case lead. I got the lead by seeing the incident which was very much happening in 2006 October. Same kind of incident with the happy side of the customer, which the world has recognized when Tata has launched Lakh Takya Car. Lakh Takya Car means $2,500 car. So when this was happen, again, it would provoke me to write the case on Tata Nano. So my dear friends, a case lead is nothing but a case lead always start with a lead which is an indication that something worthwhile from the case writer point of view to be likely occur. So this will provoke you to write the case on particular point of time, particular issues, particular situations, particular problem faced by the industries, particular situations or the problem or issue faced by the society. COVID is a situation which we all have faces. What are the implications of the post-COVID? How it affect to the mental ability of the child, how it affect the overall environment of working. This is also be a leading point for writing the case study. So my dear friends, case lead is very, very, very important. And when we talk about theme on which we would like to write down the case study, so while selecting the case lead for development, the author should identify the theme and the organization which is interested to him and the anticipated learning group. That is theme. Anyway, I have discussed about my Reliance Fresh case study. The theme of the case study is related to the business environment. When we talk, I had talked about Tata Nano car. This case study is based on new product development process. The Tata has given a gift to the automobile industry to produce a car of just $2,500, which is impossible. He did a lot of experiment because how this idea come to the Tata to make a car of $2,500. The idea come when the Tata was standing, Ratan Tata was standing on the signal. At the time, he saw one family. He has observed this situation every time, but on the dead day, he saw again that family into different context. There was a family, there is a heavy rain was there. At the time, he saw that family are suffering and not able to protect themselves from heavy rain. There was a younger child standing in front of the scooter, two-wheeler automobile. And at the back side, there was her wife was seated, holding a young child and tried to protect her from heavy rain. That idea has come, what shall I do for the society to protect from this issue? Can I able to provide reasonable price solutions in the form of four-wheeler so that they're able to protect from such kind of issues? That idea he had shared with one of the reporter. That idea converted into the verdict. This idea converted into the verdict and come into the newspaper. Ratan Tata is coming into the Lakh car. That is $2,500 car. Now it become a challenge for Ratan Tata to make the car in just only $2,500. Then he decided, I took this challenge and prove it. And October 2008, October 10 January 2008, he has exposed his car into the market. He has exposed the car into the market in 9th Auto Expo, which was happened in New Delhi. And the people had witnessed the real product which he is committed to provide in only $2,500. So my dear friends, this will give a chance to lead the case. This is a pointer which start thinking to write the case. And I had written the case to define the whole process of new product development process. This is the theme of the case. The learner interest is very, very important. interest of the learning group need careful considerations, because if the learner, maybe you have to decide for whom you are writing the case. If you're writing the case for undergraduate students, this you have to think about. If you write in the case for the postgraduate students to discuss in the class, that you also think about. When you write in the case for industrialists, the case study is very, very important for industrialists also, because it is a story of success or a story of failure, but both have one common thing, that is experience. They help us to understand what situation that company has faced and how this company has come out of it, these situations. If they are successful stories, this will give a lead point to develop a strategy, that how the company has followed that strategy to make the successful in the market. So this both success and failure will a significant contribution for the development of the industry. And my dear friends, homework. Homework does not mean a kind of assignment which we are giving to our students at home. If we are, it helps us to identify some familiarity with the functioning of business, and he intended to investigating. It is much easier to grasp what is happening in the particular society or particular people to he is going to deal with. So homework is nothing but we just want to study the different contexts on which we have started to write the cases. If you are familiar with the industries, if you are familiar with the the problem which are occurring, we are able to collect the data or information very easily. So my dear participant, any confusion to anyone till the time? If no confusion, everything is clear, write 3 in the chat box. Write 3 in the chat box. I'm waiting. Faster, getting some response, faster. Thank you. Thank you, participants. Thank you very much. Now, moving on the next part is data collection. It's very, very important. Data collection means collecting the factual data. There are different ways by which we collect the data. When I had written the case study on Tata Nano or Ryan Fresh or Patanjali, Baba Ramdev, if you heard his name, Baba Ramdev, Yoga Guru, that I have collected the data by using these 3 techniques. Because when we're writing a case, we are required to write the factual information which is happening in the society. And that is only possible. What are the techniques by which we are able to collect this factual information? These are the 3 suggestive way by which we are able to collect the data. That is observations, interview, and operating statistics. Then I will discuss about what is observations. Observation means like when you are in the class and when the teacher are taking the class, at the time the HODs are taking around. It's a kind of supervision. It's not interacting with any students. It's not interacting with the faculties. He is a bare observer. He is a management spy. I'm using the wrong word, sorry. It's a management spy who is just want to understand and want to collect the data about how the class is going on, whether the students are putting attention in the class or not, teacher are taking the classes seriously or not. So sometimes when you are doing a study or writing a case study for particular organizations, you have to be a play role of management spy. You have to be collect the information. Yes, this is most difficult but highly rewarding method for data collections, for developing a case lead. To begin with, the case writer should be able to observe the process being labeled as a management spy. So my dear friend, observation is very, very important technique. When I had observed that Patanjali has given a very good competition to Procter and Label. Yes, there is a one student. Hello. Hello, Dr. Sandeep.
Yes.
So one student is there, we have a lot of students out of Zoom. So I just know what the answer we have to give.
Oh, because we have in leave YouTube. So others like 50 over is watching in YouTube. So
Okay.
other may join in YouTube.
Okay. So
Okay.
the
I'm
limit is
sharing
over.
in Zoom link.
Limit is over, no?
Yes,
In
yes.
Zoom. Okay, thank you. So when we talk about the observations, it is a very important technique. When you are working in the industry and when you are writing case on a particular industry, sometimes it is not possible for you. Sometimes it is not possible for you that you can able to interact with everyone. It's not possible. In that case, it is only way that you observe the things and collect the informations, collect the data. Another technique which is also very important, that is interview. I had used this technique also to write my case study of Reliance Fresh. I took the view of the roadside vendor who was selling the vegetables on cart or sitting at the roadside to selling the vegetables and fruits. I took the interview of the cold storage people. I took the interview of wholesaler, which are purchasing in bulk from farmers and selling to the retailers. Just after opening of Reliance Fresh, that interview give a real insight to understand and the fear which was prevailing in their mind and heart. That is very important. So interview is a technique which is very important. The interview adds life to the case. And so it is important to go as high as possible in the organizations. A classic set of the rules for the interview that the case writer uses for these techniques are: listen what he says, listen what he does not say, listen what he cannot say without your help. So my dear friends, interview is very, very important. And the operating statistics is nothing but collection of the data to secondary sources. Collection of data through the secondary sources. Many of the data, many of the information, many of the observations, many of the knowledge-based data is available on the internet, on the different books, different journals, on the publication of newspaper. This all facts and figure helping us to write the case. So these are the three very important way by which we able to collect the data. Is it clear? If it is clear, write 5 in the chat box. Then I move further on the next slide. Yes, faster response help me to cover more part. If anyone have doubt, write 6 in the chat box. Then I may. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, someone has doubt. You can also write in the chat box. One has written the 6 in the chat box. I am happy to give the answer if he write down what is her doubt. I would like to give the answer of as many as students or as many as participants. There's one student writing 6. If he or she has a doubt, please ask the question. Thank you. So moving on the third point of the writing a case is structure of the case. That is called anatomy of the case. When we talk about the structure of the case, it is very, very important. It is also be subdivided into the different parts. First is time structure, narrative structure, expository structure, plot, cutoff point, the title, and write-up. Here we are actually start writing the case. Here we actually start writing the case. When we talk about time structure, the time structure is talk about the sequence of the event leading to the incident in the case. Sequence of the event leading into the case. It is this sequence give us the case its own time structure. Whenever possible and relevant, it is good if you mention the time and dates has to be mentioned in the case, which help us, which help the participant to be in the case. Many times it was happen when I took the case in the class. It was the case of, for example, 2001, or it was the case of 1994. And when I'm discussing in the class, and if I forgot, or if not mentioned in the case about the time, then the students are giving the answer of the particular today's situations. Here saying that it is better to use social media for marketing. But in 1992 or 1994, the social media is not available. Then whatever the solution recommended by the participants are not applicable. So my dear friends, when you're writing a case, you have to be mention the time structure. Like a good film director, one can manage a flashback to show the early origin of the situations and build up the story. There are a lot of movies you're watching. It starts with the flashback, it starts with the current and went to the flashback and then come into the current situations. So that if this is not properly maintained, then you cannot able to understand the movie. Then you maybe leave the movie from the theater in half of the movie. So this is very important. When you are mentioning the time structure, you have to maintain the logical sequence of the narrated paragraph in the format, so the sequence has been properly maintained. That is very, very important. Okay, please refill the link before. Okay, so time structure is very, very important. When we talk about narrative structure is nothing but whatever the different kind of entities, involved in the case, you have to start writing about them. For example, in the case of my Reliance Fresh, there are different types of entities I have identified, which are very important for my case, like government verdict, like pressure group, farmers, roadside vendors, wholesalers, cold storage people, and my dearest, and for which Reliance Fresh opened this store, is the customer. So I took the different kind of opinion with the help of data collection method interview, and whatever the statements, whatever the words they have shared, I have written in the same way, the way they have narrated to me. So narrative structure is very, very important. The basic purpose of the narrative structure is to present the event that took place and the circumstances of their happening narrated in some kind of pattern. They what lead to what, and so on. In other words, if I would like to say that it is a flow of story is to generate and sustain the reader interest. Again, I repeating the statement is very important. It is a flow of story to generate and sustain the reader interest. It is necessary to ensure that the various parts of the cases are logically and lucidly projected. To create interest, the flashback techniques can also be used. So this is a kind of narrative structure. Time structure and narrative structure, both are linked together. When we talk about expository structure, because it is very important what the case writer would like to say, whether the same thing is understood by the readers or not. If both are understood in different contexts, there is no common framework, then the end result will be a different. So it is very important that whatever the case reader and writer, the case writer would like to narrate it, and what the people will start applying their knowledge, applying their brain on this particular issue, the same way the readers apply their brains on this particular point or issue. And it has been only possible with the help of common framework of references. There are certain points in the expository structure I would like to mention. that if we want to create a common framework, we have to take care of situation represent in the case as a case writer. We have to take care of organization context, our society context, and the climate. We have to take care of the prevalent background and features like culture, technological, environmental factors. So before the participant deal with the case, they should become aware of various factors involved in the situations. The leading as well as supporting actor of the situations is very, very important. When we talk about fraud, so when we talk about fraud, it is kind of a case must have an issue and should not merely be blind narrations of incident. Sometimes we start writing in a way that whatever the narrations come, we start writing and complete it. So it is a kind of raw description of the situation. If we write the case in such a format, it will lose the interest of the readers. It will lose interest of the participants. If it lose the interest, then might be the case reader is not interested to go for solving the case, not interested to able to understand the overall crux of the case. So it's very important. We don't have to write only the blind narrations, but it must be built around certain issues that generate thought and interest. Again, I'm repeating, this is a very important statement. It must be built around certain issues that generate thought and interest, like conflict, decision, reaction, recognitions, so on. This issue need not be made explicit in the form of questions insight to the participants. For the case study to be really kind of living thing, he has to live the case. He has to be part of the case. He has to admire that I'm part of the situations. I'm in that situation. So when the readers and participant will start living that situation, that means that is the real role of case writer. Whenever we are watching a movie, sometimes we put ourselves in that movie. Certain situation is going on in the movie. We would like to suggest certain solutions in between the movie. Yeah, this was happening. This is happening. He has to perform this to come out from these situations. So, my dear friends, it is very important that you have to write in such a way that the reader will feel the 100% involvement in the case. That is very, very important. So for the case to be really a living thing, there must be a drama, there must be a suspense, there must be a questions, like in the movie it is there. What should do, what someone should have done, who is to be blamed for the situations, and finally, what is the best decision to be made in the circumstances. A case writer has to reflect, to deal with several literary problems and devices. That is very, very important. And every story have its own end point. It is not like you started writing a book for a particular situation. So cutoff point is very, very important. So every case has end where a decision need to be made. It is therefore important to carefully choose the cutoff point, because cutoff point like where the reader or the participant start thinking about the case. It is very, very, very important. Very important. The title is very important. Like the name of the film is very important. The name of the book is very important. The name of the program is very important. Name of the course is very important. Name of the product is very important. The case title is very important. It sometimes we are giving the name of the case like very simple situation. If I talk about my own case, Tata Nano, I have given the title Magic Car at the $2,500. Will this dream come true? This is the title. I have put up in the form of question situation. In Reliance Fresh, I have given the title Fresh Revolutions. Will this wave embrace the town? I have written one case study on the film that is very much prevalent at the time. That is, the name is traffic signal. I given the name, will the signal turn green? But there was a dilemma. It is a very good case study and very good film on the topic of NGO. So I have given the topic, will this signal turn green? Because their business, this is a story of beggars, which was earning the money by begging at the traffic signal. Their business started when the signal become red, and their business closed when their signal become green. It is a 2.5 minute when the time period which happen on the traffic signal. At the time their business start and their business end. When again the same situation occur, their business start and their end. So I have given the title like when the signal turn green, how these people start moving from begging business to the respectful business. On this topic, the contemporary topic, I had written this case study. The title is very, very important. And the last in the structure is write-up. It is neither possible nor desirable to develop each structure separately with the superimpose. It is a kind of things which have to be linkage between the points you have narrated in the paragraph. Normally, one should start with expository structure and then check to the other structure, making suitable amendment and having obtained the first draft. And it is not like then that you write the first draft, it is final for publication. You have to be rewrite, write, rewrite, read, rewrite, read many times. It is expected at least 5 to 6 times. It is desired to make it change to get the desired effect. So if it is clear the structure of the case, please write the 7 in the chat box. So I move on the next slide. Yes, my dear participant, give the faster answer. Any question on this slide? You can write 8 in the chat box and ask the question. Okay, thank you, participant. Now move on the next part, disguise and release. When you are going to watch any movie, there is a disclaimer. There is a disclaimer. In the one question I received, what do we write in the column for organization when filling the link? You said, okay, sorry, this is another thing. Okay, disguise and release. It is very important because when you're writing a case on particular situation, when you're writing a case on particular issue happening into the society, you are writing a case on the particular issues happening with the organizations. So sometimes it is desirable to hide the identity. That is called disguise. So in order to maintain the objectivity during the discussions, it is desirable to disguise the setting, including the character. Disguise also helps to avoid the raising the sentiments and disturbing the prestige of the character involved. So it is necessary to maintain the environmental and operating context. When you are disguising, so sometimes you read in the movie before going to start, they are changing the names, they are changing the place. It is important. It cannot directly affect the reputation or prestige of the people which are playing an important role, an important character in particular incidents. So in order to hide their identity, the names has been changed. But one thing has to be make it very important. You can change the name, you can change the place, but it is necessary to maintain the environmental and operating context of an organization with changing the name, time, and other places. The character may be renamed, but they have to maintain their gender, age, religions, and other cultural contexts are near to the original as much as it is possible. It is also expected that if you have prepared the case, then you have to take the permission from the organization. You have to give the case before publication to the real stakeholder. They will read the case and understand anything is not written which hamper their prestige or their reputations. So once they give a written permission, then you write to publish the case. The important part, that is the presentation. When we talk about the presentations, when we talk about the presentation, when we talk about the presentation, what are the things are there in the presentation? What I did when I written such cases before publications, I have discussed this case multiple times in my own classroom, just to understand the expository structure of the case. What I think about the case, what issue I want to highlight to be discussed in the classroom is coming or not in the discussion part. I have not discussed the case. When I start discussing case, I have to mold the students on that issues that I would like to be discussed on the case. I have given to my professors. Please take this case and discuss in the class. I will be one of the participants. I will be the one of the observer. I did not contribute anything in the class. I only seated over there and just start understanding how this case are discussed in the classroom. So it's very, very important that before publications, my dear faculty fraternity, it is very important. So when we talk about presentations, these are certain things you are required to be having with the case itself. Then the different paragraph exhibits like table, charts, balance sheets, forms, map, just hold on. Such other information which cannot be conveniently placed in the text of the case. Journal notes, important. Journal notes, it will talk about the detail of organizations, operating environments, procedure, financial status, financial informations, etc. With the help of journal notes, a participation is made aware about general environment which is happening in the situations, which is present in self. Technical notes is important. What kind of concept that you want to highlight? What kind of concept that you want to taught with the help of case? If this concept are presented in the form of technical notes, it will be easy for the case leader who is leading the case in the classrooms. So the technical notes induce some concept or technique of analysis, like for example, linear programming part you want to taught in the classroom, ratio analysis you would like to taught in the classrooms, or maybe different kind of technique, EOQ, economic order quantity, that we want to taught in the classrooms, or certain branding concept related to marketing, branding equity, or other type of branding concept that we taught into the classroom. This technical notes helping to the case leader to discuss this issue, discuss this concept with the help of the issues which are mentioned in the case. And the case note is very important. The purpose of the case note is to provide a general guide to the case leader and assist them in the preparation as well as consideration of the case during discussion. It is likely to assist a case leader in his own preparations. So this is very, very important. When you would like to publish a case in the very good general, it is a minimum things that are expected by the publishers. So that is about the presentation of case. Now, there is another way to write the case. There is another way to write the case which I would like to explain with the help of this cube. I would like to discuss on this one. So one part of the how to write the case I had discussed in the part. If it is clear, write 9 in the chat box. Yes, please write 9 in the chat box. So I would like to discuss another method of writing the case. Another method of writing the case in the form of case difficulty cube. That is very, very important. Here, thank you very much, participants. Here I would like to discuss this cube on the 3 parameter. One is analytical dimension, which is shown in the x-axis. Then conceptual dimensions, which is shown in the y-axis, and then presentation dimension, which is shown on the z-axis. In the cube, there are 3 axes are there. Then this case cube difficulty help you. Okay, what kind of difficulty you would like to put in the case? It is a simple case of half paragraph where the particular situations is explained. We cannot say it is a case. We can say it is a caselet. There is a case of Harvard University, which is of 40-45 pages. Explain in the different contexts with there are different type of exhibits are associated with the main cases. So this kind of complicities also be given in the case. So it depends on kind of complicity that we would like to keep in the case. So this difficulty I would like to explain with the help of 3 factors: analytical, presentations, and conceptual dimensions. Now I'm discussing the first part, that is analytical dimension. This dimension basically indicate the analytical tasks that the author wishes for the student to perform. Again, I'm repeating the statement, which is very important. This analytical indicates the analysis task the author or the case writer wishes for the student to perform. There may be a simple case. If I want to share the difficulty level, it may be for 1 degree difficulties, it may be 1st degree difficulties, it may be 2nd degree difficulties, it may be 3rd degree difficulty, because there are 3 dimensions are there. So 1st degree difficulties, 2nd degree difficulty, 3rd degree difficulties. It depends. If we talk about the simplest form, so I can say like this one: here is a problem, here is a solutions. A direct question has been asked after giving the situations where student has to find out certain data, and on the basis of data here to give the answer of the questions. It is a kind of solving a linear programming problem. It is a question of solving the assignment problem. It is a question of solving a EOQ problem. So it is a simple case where only the concept has to be applied and the direct answers are expected after analysis. It's called 1st degree of the problem. When we talk about the 2nd degree of a problem, so here is a problem. Here is a problem. Give a reasonable solution. This is called the 2nd degree of difficulty. If we want to make higher degree of difficulties, then it can be possible. Here is the situations. What are the solutions? So this is a kind of 3rd level of degree in the difficulties. So that is a analytical dimension that the case writer has to think about what kind of analytical difficulties he would like to address for the participation. In y-axis, I have discussed about conceptual dimension. This is the 2nd dimension which are presented in y-axis in the figure. We talk about the different kind of degree. If we talk about the simple concept, so might be it is possible the reader read the case, and after reading the case, he able to understand the situation without taking the help of anyone. This is a simple degree of difficulty which we will like to address in the case, and the concept is very well easily understandable by the reader. That is called a simple illustrations of illustration in the form of case. But if there is a 3rd way, if there is a certain, you have increased this level of difficulty where it is not possible by own to understand the concept, he need to be have help of more number of colleagues, more number of students, where they are discussing, and then with the discussion, they able to understand the case. With the difficulties, they able to understand the concept. The third level of degree, where even the colleagues are not able to get the understanding of the concept which the case writer would like to address in the case. They need a kind of teachers, kind of supporter who can explain the concept, and then they able to understand the concept. This is the third level of difficulty which would like to put up in the case. This is the conceptual dimensions of difficulty we would like to put up in the case. The third parameter, which is shown on the z-axis, that is called presentation dimension. The presentation dimensions also can be put up in the difficulty format: first level degree, second level degree, or third level degree. If in the case, if there is no extraneous data means external data. Again, I repeating the statement. Extraneous data means external data. If there is no external data, a hypothetical situation has been created and it is converted in the form of illustrations and in the case. That is a simple presentation of the case. But if certain small extraneous data has been put up, some figure, economic data, some other kind of data, graph, charts, which are available, we are put up in the case, we are increasing the difficulty level. If you want to extend the highest level difficulty, we put a lot of exhibits, lot of information in the form of table and chart, which are available from external source. So the readers or the participants require to understand each and every chart before coming on the any suggested solution or recommendation. That is a high level of extraneous data we put up in the case. So it will create the highest level of difficulty. So if we talk about sub-Qs, it is a simple case of 1:1:1, or it may be a case of 3:3:3. That is 27 sub-Qs. That kind of difficulty we able to put up in the case. So before ending the discussions, there are some important points which I would like to highlight. Any questions to further this slide? If no question, write 11 in the chat box. Write 11 in the chat box. Yes, my dear friends, participant, waiting for the, yes, faster. Or 12, if not understandable, write 12. Thank you. So moving on the next part, which is very important slide, do's and don'ts as a case writer. Do's and don'ts as a case writer. What are the do's? Ask yourself, what am I writing the case? That is what is the purpose of writing the case in terms of teaching values? What do I want training to learn from this case? This is very important. What is the purpose of writing the case? What I want that my learner learn from the case. Will it make people think? It is not kind of simple story. It is not kind of simple articles. It is not simple kind of unseen passage in which the whatever the little bit information available, by using it, he is just writing the answer. Whether it will start thinking process of my participant or not. Organize your material and prepare outline of the case. Note all known facts. Schedule your time. Use, yes, do the presentation slide. Okay. Use simple language and plain word. Keep the focus and link the ideas. Schedule a time gap between drafting and editing the state at least at fortnight. This is very, very important. And what you don't require to do, don't put your own perception. This is the very important point. Don't put your own observations. Don't put your opinion. If you put up your opinion, it is bias case. You have to be bare observer. An important statement I'm sharing again. You have to be bare observer. Write praise of yourself and don't provide the praise of yourself. Don't provide the solution. the solution or recommendations that has to be found out by our readers if it's important. So when we talk about the case plan total, so this case plan is divided into the 4 part: opening paragraph, outline of the final case with subtitle wise, data requirement list, and proposed schedule of the activity. The open paragraph is very, very important. Like when we start watching a movie, at the time at start of the movie create the interest of the audience, and the start of movie is boring. The people don't want to watch the movie. In the similar way, the opening paragraph is the lens of the case. It should contain the right kind of information so that the case learner can recognize whose role to assume and identify the nature of decision of the problem, where and what type of organization the case took place. When you are watching a movie, at the time within 15 minutes, they open all the characters. They start talking about all the characters which are happening in the case. So in open paragraph, it is not acceptable. It must be revised. If it is not written, which is expected, then you have to revise the opening paragraph. It is suggested the opening paragraph contain maximum 6 sentences or 60 words. If the opening paragraph is very large, it will not able to create the interest of the participant. So opening paragraph has to be right in the simple form. When we talk about final case subtitle wise, there should be a subtitle paragraph wise. It would help us to reader to link with the previous context, to be able to link with the previous information which you're given in the case, and whatever the data requirement list are there, that has to be there in the form of exhibits. And you have to be proposed the schedule of activity, what way you are required. I had explained you. I had discussed the case at multiple forums before finalizing the final draft. I have also given my case to the experts. I have given this case and discussed in the classrooms. I have discussed this case with the industry people. I have discussed the case with the people for whom this context has been explained. So I've taken this all in the discussion part. So thank you very much, all of you. So what we have discussed till the time, I just give a revision part so that a recap will help you out to make the concept. In the initiation, it is starting. We have discussed about misperceptions about the case study. Then we discussed what is a case study. Then we discussed the importance of the case study. Then we discussed about how the way the case has to be right. That is selection of incident, data collection, structure of the case, disguise and release, and presentation. And every point we have discussed in detail how to select the incidents. Then what are the methods for data collections, how the structuring the case, anatomy of the case. Then we discuss the disguise and release at the final when the case has been completed. Then how to present the case in the written format. Then what kind of case difficulties we have to put up in the case in the form of analytical dimension, conceptual dimension, presentation dimensions, do's and don'ts of the cases, and the case plan. So thank you very much to all participants. If any questions, I'm free. This is my email ID. Any questions, anything would you like to ask, or any help I can do further, I am feel most. So if any question, if it's clear everything, write 13 in the chat box. If it is clear, write 13 in the chat box. Or anyone have any question, please ask me. I feel fortunate if you have any questions or if you require any kind of help, I'm always be available on this email ID to give your answer of your questions. So thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Abhijit Ghosh. Thank you, Sandeep sir, for providing this wonderful opportunity to discuss with my dearest participants. Over to you, Sandeep sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vishal, for your vivid presentation on case study, and all of the participants is very much eager to understand you can see that Zoom 100% is full, and many people from China, I apologize for that they cannot join because YouTube is not streamed in China, and also they cannot join in Zoom because the Zoom room is full. So we have to do another workshop maybe in few days, after few days again, for especially for China students and others. And this time I will keep in mind that everybody can join, like that type of capacity I will take. And also around 58% at present in YouTube platform watching your lecture. And it is undoubted that your lecture is very helpful for us, and thank you for your nice presentation. I just want to share one slide before Dr. Ghosh tells something. And as we are discussing about the case study, I should tell all the participants that case study is one way. It is a single time of experiment. A case study cannot be repeated. This is the main difference between a case study. So if like this type of experiment we do, or any company or organization face problem, like in this COVID scenario situation, many companies have faced problem, many companies have closed down, many person have lost their life, battle of life, many person got jobless situation. So this case will it cannot be repeated. Again, I cannot spend another company to be shut down. I cannot spend another person's life for a case study that yes, I have done this experiment with this type of medicine that can save COVID patient, cannot save. So we have to be very careful that case study cannot be repeated. Like this today's scenario, I just now talking with our Miss Vivian that how Miss China student cannot join in this Zoom platform, so education is hampered. So this is a case, and this case study give us a feedback that is this situation I can repeat. Yes, I means if I can again do the same type of seminar with this same type of Zoom capacity, is it be means wise or intelligence or between us? No. So if I don't want to follow the result of the case study, then I will face again the same problem. So I cannot survive. So this is the main theme of the case study. Anything may be a case study, not like that one company or organization. Just like as I told that this Zoom platform education system is hampered. It is also a case study. In China, YouTube is not operating. So, and many countries maybe have some restrictions. So that is also a case study. So how we can overcome that thing, that will be a different analysis idea. So this is our case study. And with this, I am thankful again to Dr. Vishal Khasgiwala, Dean, Faculty of Management and Commerce, Atmiya University, Gujarat, India. And he is not that Dean and we know each other. He previously visited Malaysia around 10 years before. And from then he is with us. And thank you again for this. And Dr. Ghosh, if you want to share some, please.
Thank you, Dr. Poddar. Dr. Vishal Khasgiwala, thank you very much for the wonderful session. We learned so much from you. But my humble request to all the participants, including my fellow colleagues, this is not the end, but this is just the beginning. Whatever we learned today, from here, we have to start moving forward. And the way to move forward, we start writing simple case studies. And Dr. Vishal Khasgiwala, he has shared his personal, email ID. We can send him and he will be guiding us. He will be helping us so that we are able, from our simple observations, we are able to convert them to case studies. Case studies are needed. Why? Because case studies help us to learn and understand from our past mistakes so that they are able to help us to move forward. We learn from our past mistakes through the case studies, how they have fixed those areas, how the problem solved, and where did they go wrong, because case studies are mainly linked to the past, okay? So that in future, whenever we are faced with those kinds of realities, how we are not going to face those traps in front of us, the decision making can be a little bit different from how they have solved the case study last time, and then we move forward. So my humble request to all my MBA students and PhD scholars and my fellow colleagues, let's start writing case studies. Case studies needs to be not only written, but those case studies needs to be used in our classroom scenarios. We're learning from each other. Simple observations, we start from there. We start from simple, information, and we can also start from, our day-to-day job life experiences. And then Dr. Vishal Khashgiwala, he has already shared with us that he is ready to cooperate with us. So we'll be including him in this process and we move forward. Is that a promise from everyone? Please. Right one. I'm learning from Dr. Vishal.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So everyone is writing one. That means it is going to be a good, nice platform. From here, we'll be moving to our next stage, which is we will be holding our international conference sometime very soon. And I'm expecting students to write these case studies so that we can publish a few in there. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Vishal Khashgiwala. Thank you very
sir.
much, Dr. Sandeep Poddar. And I'm amazed that we had a full house and we thought that maybe it will not be a full house, but it's good. So we'll be, arranging for some more for the ones who missed today. And we're learning from our mistakes. That's a perfect case study, as Dr. Poddar mentioned. And also, I'm inviting all of my students and my colleagues to really think about how to streamline this whole process so that the research platform is created, and that is enjoyable platform that where we'll be meeting each other and greeting each other and sharing much more in our next conference that we are going to hold sometime very soon. Over to you, Dr. Poddar. Dr. Poddar, over to you.
Yes, sorry. I just request all the participants to fill the link. A Google link I provide in the chat box. Please fill before you leave. And thank you once again to join. And we will move forward. It is not only, as Dr. Ghosh told, that it is not only that the case study is by writing or some organization like that. It may be a video also a case study. So now many journals accepting video recordings as a case study, and they publish also very good journals. So that is also now new, what you call the innovation and procedures we are following. And of course, there are many specialized journals for case study, and our journals also support case study articles. So we'll move forward. Thank you once again for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Should I leave the meeting, sir, with your permission?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, all the participants. You made me feel very proud today.